Hi there, Gemini. Welcome to your end of July 2025 General Tarot Update. It's Raina here. Alrighty then. I just got that card for the last reading. I think, and you're ruled by Mercury. We're under Mercury retrograde, and I was just talking about how sometimes I was interpreting that card of like being very wary of someone from your past kind of contacting you out of the blue, during a Mercury retrograde, because that can happen. And this idea of, is this somebody that you really trust and all of that? The heart of the matter is the Nine of Wands. This is a card of setting boundaries. Sometimes it can be somebody who has walls around them that they have kind of like built maybe because of past hurt. And so they're a little bit wary of someone trying to come into their life because they don't want to have to deal with getting their heart broken again. But sometimes it can be like, let's say you break up with a narcissistic type of person and you're a little bit like, okay, this individual, I don't know about this person. I'm a little nervous about, their intentions, because those types of people, then they put on the charm. So it could be like, if you're looking for love and you haven't been able to really find anybody, look to see how you behave, because maybe you're a little bit aloof and somebody feels intimidated to get near you. Or also, if you have had problems with boundaries in the past, Gemini is a mutable air sign. Mutable signs tend to be very flexible, but I'm a Sagittarian, so I'm a mutable sign. I'm an expert on the mutable signs. But you know what? Sometimes flexibility can be a little bit too pronounced. Sometimes you need to put your foot down, and you need to have clear, guidelines of what is acceptable in a relationship with you. And if you're too adaptable, like if somebody blows you off and they don't call and you're supposed to go out on a date and they say, come on, I didn't mean to do that, but they do it over and over again. Well, if you keep tolerating it, what do you expect? You have to teach people how to treat you. In the past position, we have the Six of Cups, and this is a soulmate card. So there could be somebody who comes into your life, I would say back into your life, who maybe you knew in high school. Perhaps it wasn't like a high school sweetheart or something like that. Maybe it was the brother of one of your best friends, but you know this person, and you feel that connection to that innocent part of life when you were just starting out, and maybe this is a person that you're reconnecting with for some reason. And if you have those that wall up, maybe they are the one person who can kind of knock it down because they knew you back when, as opposed to there's something special about people that you knew when you're growing up, because that's a time that a lot of people, it's very magical and all of that. So it can be a significant connection to reestablish. The higher message is the Queen of Wands, and regardless of what gender you are, the Queen of Wands can be embodying, stepping into that, your power, but it's more of a personal power. It's not just like your power in the world, but your inner power. And the sunflower, to me, speaks to the sun, which in this lifetime is the light that you came here to shine. So as a Gemini person, for instance, oh yeah, that's another thing too. Yeah, that's another big one. I would say maybe even a bigger message than a soulmate is that the Six of Cups, to me at least, can be something that was your passion when you were young that you may have gotten disconnected from. So for Gemini, an example would be like writing or some form of communication. And being able to get back into that creative spirit, um, and not feel like you have to choose between one thing and another. Like some people think that anything that they do that isn't monetized, or that they feel like they can't make money off of, at least in the near future, that it's really not worth it. Well, first of all, having hobbies and having things that we enjoy, that's always worth it, but you never know what can happen in the future. So if you're somebody who likes to be creative in some way, and like I said, I think especially with Gemini people, it can be something that involves words, communication, that you know, take yourself seriously. The Nine of Wands could be like you have these walls up and you've kind of like maybe childhood put those things behind you, but they're still there. They still might be things that you want to do, your dreams. What crosses you, the High Priestess. And this is, the connection to your higher self. For Gemini specifically, it's the mind, I would say. The mind that analyzes, the mind that doesn't bypass the intellect and the conditioning that you already have, and to realize that you don't, just because you're thinking something doesn't mean it's true, and doesn't mean that that's what is meant for you to do. So that's why people meditate. That's one of the big reasons, because that's how the High Priestess is like the higher self, and you communicate through something that transcends the mind, the consciousness. That's like the spiritual mind. What's coming in is the Six of Wands. This is a card of recognition, a card of victory. There's that laurel wreath, and taking your bow, being recognized by others for your talents, your successes, meeting someone who is aware of your gifts. Yeah, what's interesting is that this card connects to Leo. And for Gemini people, Leo is your third house. And we are having a new moon in Leo on July 24th. So this is the house that you rule, the third house in astrology. And this deals with communication. This deals with writing or social media, the internet, blogs, YouTube, that kind of thing, podcasts. If you have started something like that, maybe you will see some, like let's say you started a YouTube channel. Maybe you'll see at the end of July that it finally is starting to take off. The one danger of Gemini people is that if something doesn't happen quickly enough, you might jump to the next thing. So you have to give things time to develop sometimes, or you might get bored by then. But yeah, there might be some reason, or you meet someone, or maybe this is, again, it's under the soulmate card. Maybe it's somebody who really appreciates you. It's interesting. Those are both sixes, and the number 6 is connected to Venus. So there could be that love connection there. The outcome is the Knight of Swords. This is a card of big changes afoot. You know, things are changing. They might change very quickly. One thing that I have to point out astrologically is that, and it's funny too, because I see it here with those lightning bolts. Uranus has gone into Gemini. So Uranus is in your sign, and Uranus is a ruler of another air sign, Aquarius. So it has that affinity with air. So this could be part of that change, because that's what Uranus is all about. That can be sudden change. So keep that in mind, that things could shift pretty rapidly. But I know that the average Gemini person, that's exactly what you love. So enjoy the whirlwind, I suppose I should say. Alrighty then, that's what I have for you, Gemini. If you'd like an astrological reading, a tarot reading, or both, please click on the link below. Take care. Bye.